What up, dorks? Today is Monday, and I'm going to teach you how to play Pokemon. I decided that it might be a little fun if we took a break from our occasional vlogging to do a sort of tutorial week thing. If you don't want to do it, then don't do it. I don't care. Basically, you need one thing to play Pokemon, and that is this, a Pokemon card deck. Now, I have lots and lots of Pokemon cards. Here's some more. There's another stack. Here's another stack. So yeah, I keep myself pretty busy with this stuff, and I'm 18 years old. Alright, so this is my little aerial placemat. This is where I do a lot of my homework. It's very nice, it's very comfy. This is a Pokemon. This is the Pokemon Bulbasaur, for any of you who don't know. He's pretty, you know, normal. He's one of the original Pokemon, #1, so that's a thing. Alright, now I'm going to show you a few things about this Pokemon card that I need you to know first. A, attacks. See these attacks here? These two numbers right here and these two words? Okay, one of them, as you can see, is Tackle and Vine Whip. Now I want you to notice something about these attacks. I want you to notice how much the number that's next to them, and I want you to notice the little circles on this side of them. I'm going to explain what these are. Up here in this corner you see a number and then HP. What that means is how many health points this Pokemon has. So Bulbasaur has 60 health points. Now down here at the attacks you see that these numbers, the 10 and the 20, what they do, they're, as I said before, they're attacks to knock out your opponent's Pokemon. So your opponent's Pokemon, its life points, will get depleted every time you attack it, and that happens in your turn of the game. I'll explain turns later. As I said before, you're going to need a Pokemon deck, and now this deck is made up of 60 cards. All Pokemon decks standard have 60 cards in them. In each deck there's 4 things that you need in order to complete a deck. One of them being Pokemon, energy cards, supporter cards or stadium cards, and trainer cards. Pokemon cards, as I showed you before, are the Pokemon that you're using to fight with. Energy cards get added to the Pokemon during your turn, and that helps you get these over here, these little circles that I showed you earlier. The number of energies that you have attached correspond to the numbers over here of how many circles there are so that you can use this attack. Now as you see here, Leafeon's Spiral Drain needs 2 energies, a green energy, and what this is a normal energy, that little white dot. Now normal energies mean that you can use any type of energy in order to fill that energy requirement. So you can use grass, water, fire, anything that you have in your deck. My deck is composed of dark energy cards and grass energy cards. I'll show you a dark Pokemon later. Now when you start a new game of Pokemon, there's a few things you need to do. One of them is you take your deck and you draw 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put these cards aside, a little bit off to where you're playing at. Now draw another 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This batch of cards is going to be your playing hand. Let's see what we got here. A Cherubi, an energy, another energy, and 2 EVs. Now I want you to notice something about this EV card right here. Up here in the corner there's a little silver bar, and I don't know if you can see what it says, but it says basic. Now what that means is that this Pokemon is the most devolved that it can be. If you know anything about Pokemon, you should know that they are able to evolve in, like, you know, the comic and the show and the game and everything like that. I'll get to evolving in a second. But basically, you are able to upgrade your Pokemon to a different Pokemon that has better health points and attacks and everything like that. So evolving your Pokemon is good, but make sure that you have enough energies that correspond to that Pokemon's, you know, attacks so that you can actually use that Pokemon instead of just looking cool. Alright, so as I showed you before, this little basic up there means that it's a usable card for you to start off with. So every card that you have in your hand, every card that is a basic Pokemon card gets laid out. Alright, so here I have Cherubi, which is a weird cherry type Pokemon thing, and 2 Eevees. So every basic Pokemon that you have pretty much goes into your bench. Now, your bench is where you keep all of your basic Pokemon for play. And you take one of those basic Pokemon and you put them forward. This is your playing Pokemon. This is the Pokemon you're going to be adding energies to and using to battle at this point in time. Down here, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little circle like there are for energies, and that's its retreat costs, which means you have to take out 1 energy in order to bring Eevee back here, and you can put in another Pokemon. So let's say we have Eevee out right now. This is where the actual playing of the game comes in hand. You always want to make sure that you have 5 cards in your hand. So here's my hand again. I drew a few more cards, and now I have 5. Now these are the things that you can do during your turn. You can play trainer cards. Trainer cards are pretty much cards that help you as you go along in battle. This is a life herb. What it does is you flip a coin and you pick a Pokemon and it gets 6 damage counters taken off of it. Now damage counters are what people use to keep track of how much damage a Pokemon has, like I talked about before with its health points. You can play as many trainer cards as you want during your turn. You have an unlimited amount, just as much as you have in your hand, because you can't draw cards during your turn. Another card that you can use is a supporter card or a stadium card. This one is a supporter card. Supporter cards are basically the same thing as trainer cards, but have a few altercations to them. They're usually better, and you can only play 1 of them during your turn. Another thing you can do, like I mentioned before, is add energies to your Pokemon. So now Eevee can use Sand Attack and whatever. So you can only add 1 energy to a Pokemon per turn. So you can't add like 5 onto Eevee and then be like, yeah! No, can't do that. So that's pretty much your turn, and the last thing you want to do during your turn is you want to attack at the very end. Because if you attack at any other point during your turn is over. So yeah, don't attack unless you are positive that that's what you want to do. Now I'm going to talk about evolving Pokemon. This is really simple, and there's really not much to say about it, but let's say Eevee has a few more energies stacked onto her. Alright, so I have 3 energy cards stacked onto Eevee. And, I mean, Eevee doesn't need all that energy card, but you know who does need all those energy cards is Eevee's evolution, Leafeon. Now, this is pretty simple. The only way that you evolve a Pokemon during your turn is that you pretty much take the evolution and you just slide it on like that. So, it's not difficult. You just do it whenever you feel like it. There's usually, you know, strategy into doing it, but that's about it. Now, the way you win a game is you either deplete your opponent of their deck, as in you just keep running out of cards and whatever, or you feint 6 of their Pokemon, and that's where these 6 cards that you drew at the beginning come in. These 6 cards that you drew are called prize cards, and for every Pokemon that you make faint, you get a prize card. So if I killed the Pokemon, I'd get an energy. Usually they're useless because they're at like the top of your deck, and if you've shuffled it before, then you know you don't really know what you're gonna get. So those are your cards. Those are the prize cards. So that's pretty much how you'd play Pokemon. Maybe you guys can come up and we can battle sometime. I hope you found that interesting. If you didn't, then I am sorry. But yeah. Alright, bye.